Hello and welcome. I'm Stephanie Briggs, the creator of Heart Blossom, where I offer soul guidance and inspiration to a global community of healers, artists, and heart-centered visionaries. This is your moon message for the full moon in Virgo, March 9th, 2020 at 1:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We are now in daylight time here. I am feeling the hour of sleep that I lost last night. And it feels like a fitting moment to, as we are also coming to the end of Mercury's retrograde period, which began on February 16th. Mercury is going direct on March 9th at 11:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now, at this full moon, we get the chance to work with the archetypes of Pisces and Virgo. These are two opposite polarities in the zodiac. And at this full moon, we have the moon in Virgo facing off with the sun in a conjunction to Neptune in Pisces. Now, Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces, and it's all about this energy of formlessness, we could say, of spirit, of the amalgamation of all that is. It is the final sign of the zodiac as we are moving toward the beginning of the astrological year when the sun enters Aries on March 20th. Virgo is that place of down to earth, bringing everything into form. When we're moving from Pisces to Virgo, we're moving from vision to mission. Vision being the ideal that we have, the dream that we are dreaming or that we're receiving of how we would like things to be. Mission is where we're actually taking action. It's that place where faith moves into action. And mission could also be thought of as ministering to the vision and to all those beings who are part of the vision to make this vision happen. You could say you're stewarding the vision. You're looking and tending to all the little bits and pieces, to all the components of the plan, to all the people who are in your service. And Virgo is the place where that Pisces vision, that Pisces dream, inspiration from spirit becomes real. So that's part of the larger journey that we're all on, is bringing our souls, our divine consciousness and power and magic into these human bodies, moving and growing and living and taking action within these limitations of Earth space. And so I want to remind you that as a divine human, as one individual expression of the divine, one piece of the formless eternity brought into finite form as a human, that you are here and you are co-creating with the human part of you and the divine part of you. Now, if you are someone as a human who feels called to serve in some way while you're here, there are people, there are causes, there's something that you care about, that you feel and know you are meant to tend to while you're here. When you're serving, it doesn't mean that you have to be selfless. It doesn't mean that you have to stay in that formlessness of allowing your vision to wash you away. I always have to be on the lookout for these codependent patterns that I learned, to abandon myself, to kind of go into that martyr shadow of Pisces. In particular, recently, I've been noticing, my tendency to take on responsibility for other people, whether I see them in a struggle and I feel like I know what would be best for them, or I'm trying to save them from feeling some kind of pain or suffering in their life, which sometimes is what helps us learn. If I'm in a pattern that's harming myself, the pain will let me know that this can't continue. Now I can try and avoid the pain. I can try and avoid my knowing of what's going wrong here, but that's not going to stop the pain from happening. That's not actually going to allow me to learn and make a different choice. So it is a survival skill under patriarchy to develop codependent patterns and behaviors, and sometimes it can help you survive in given moments. So another thing I've been learning, especially over the last year, is that when I recognize myself in a pattern, whether it's a codependent relationship pattern or workaholism or whatever it may be, it's okay for me to choose that I don't want to engage in this anymore. And I also do not have to shame myself. I realize that the self-shame isn't a requirement for growing and evolving. We may or may not have even the consciousness of the ways that we're shaming ourselves. Or we may start to have consciousness of that. We may realize like, oh, I'm getting into a shame spiral. And we may feel unable to get ourselves out of that shame spiral. Or maybe one day we're able to get ourselves out of it, and another day we just stay stuck there for the whole day. None of these are a problem or bad or mean that you're backsliding or that you can't grow, that you can't heal. They're just all an experience and an opportunity to practice and to learn. You don't have to punish yourself for being human, for making mistakes, for not knowing exactly what would happen so that you could prevent it and learn the lesson without actually learning it. Sometimes we have to go through things to fully get it in our bodies. Again, on that Earth Virgo level of reality, hyper-vigilance is such a Virgo shadow. Again, like, if I'm perfect, then I can control everything, and then I'll know that I'm safe because I've thought of everything that can go wrong and I've planned for it. Virgo rising here, I am quite familiar with this approach, and to an extent it can work. It can really be stressful. It can involve so much extra effort and worrying, which again just will keep you energetically in a place that doesn't support your vibrancy, that doesn't support your well-being. If you think about it, again, there is this connection between your vision, your perception, like your way of seeing, and the way that you respond, the way that you interact with your environment. If I'm in a hyper-vigilant energy state of being and I have a vision of something threatening, then most likely my response to that vision is to take some kind of action that I believe will protect me from this threat that I perceive. If I have a vision of success, then what action would I take? I would probably take action to prepare for this successful milestone that I'm seeing up ahead, or that I'm drawing into my life, that I'm intending to align with. If I want to be a person who goes on a vacation, then at some point I'm going to have to plan the vacation. I'm going to have to take action of researching, of booking a hotel, and then packing my clothes, and then going to the airport. Whatever it is that your vision is, you will take action to call that into being, or you will take action that takes you in another direction. Another thing is, while Mercury has been retrograde, again, you may have noticed that things have not been moving forward in the way that you may have wanted them to, that you may have planned on. or just even like the perception of time could feel really different. Mercury, for the most of the retrograde, has been in Pisces, which is again this place of formlessness, where time doesn't even exist. It's the time outside of time, the eternal moment. It's like a place of suspended animation where we're all just floating in this sea of oneness, right? And that can be really frustrating when you're trying to get things done, or when you're trying to collaborate in particular. You're trying to communicate and have a conversation, or a relationship of any kind. And if there are delays, if there's a period of silence where someone just isn't even responding, or their communication is unclear, like, what do you do in that situation? Do you try and look for a story to explain what's going on? You try and like figure out what they're doing, and like what action do you take based on that story that you've created? And again, like this, I do this, and that's why I know that this is like a thing that we do to help us feel safe. And it's totally understandable. It's a natural impulse. We want to understand and we want to make sense of our lives and the world so that we can protect ourselves and so that we can get what we want. Venus is conjunct Uranus as well at this full moon. Uranus being that sort of that cosmic wrecking ball, or the explosion that disrupts the pattern and the path that we've been on, especially when it's in need of evolution. It's that revolutionary impulse. And in a conjunction with Venus, this has to do with relationships, with our values, with our resources. And so it's that energy of fertile chaos where this disruption can actually lead to creating something brand new, to creating the next iteration. Also, Chiron is still in a square with the lunar node. So again, this is a journey, that your healing and your growth is happening throughout your entire human life. The seed that that is growing right now is still beneath the soil. Maybe it hasn't popped out yet with a little green shoot. But that doesn't mean it's not actually growing just because you can't see it. Pisces is that realm of faith that our vision will become real. It's that faith that we are supported, that we are in our journey, even when we feel like we're stuck, even when we feel like we're alone, even when we feel like we've made mistakes and I don't know how this is going to work out, or I don't know for sure what to do. It's having that faith and taking action based on that faith. Again, faith in action. And I'm just remembering this beautiful tree that I have outside my window. It's a sycamore tree, and I've been watching the buds form on this tree day by day. Every day they get a little tiny bit bigger. And I know that eventually these buds are going to flower, and then they are going to turn into leaves. And this is a process that happens day by day. Your healing and your growth also happens day by day. And so you can serve that part of your journey in every moment and every decision that you make. Every time you choose self-care over self-abandonment, that's a moment of healing. Whether you can see it or know it or feel it, it's all adding up. It's all moving you toward the next step on your journey. And I want to leave you with a beautiful message that has been keeping me company, inspiring me on my journey. It's from a song called Passion Flower, written by John Gomm. And in the song, he's talking about this plant that was in his backyard, a passion flower plant. And it grew up and bloomed overnight. And he's talking about how amazing this flower is. And he says, you are what you grow into. You're not what you were. And so I just want to leave you with that. And that is true for you as well. That you're always growing and evolving, and you don't need to identify with your mistakes or with anything that you've been through in your past. You don't have to carry that with you, and you don't have to judge yourself. And just know that if you keep choosing to grow, then you are growing. So as I look towards spring and thinking about seeds and new growth, and I want to invite you to join me for a special spring equinox circle that I am hosting. It's going to be happening on March 21st at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And again, it is free. We're just going to be gathering for a ritual to nurture and implant our visions into the collective energetic environment to grow with the sun as we move toward the summer solstice, which will be the next quarter in the sun's journey. So again, join me on March 21st. You can sign up at the link that is below in this video description. So much of what I've been sharing today has been inspired by my recent conversation with Andrea Renee. We talked about leading with your divine humanity, and that conversation is going to be airing sometime next month in April as part of the Embracing Your Earth Journey online summit that I am hosting, which is going to be all about giving you ways of welcoming your humanity, honoring your divinity, and navigating your journey. So if you want to pre-register for that, you can go to embracingyourearthjourney.com and you can sign up for free, and you will get notified when this event launches. So that's all for now. I just want to send you lots of love and many blessings on your journey. Thanks so much for being here.